process of that kind of woodland goes strictly on the shade, the light availability, shade management, whatever you want to call it. But that's a natural process that occurs. And what we need to be doing is trying to replicate that, I think. And to give you a couple examples, since we started the program, these individual consultations, we talked to a couple dozen people. And 3 of those people, the discussion was, how do you get more light on the forest floor? And every one of those cases it really comes down to, and what is a good example of this lady over on Tipla. They got rid of all their buckthorn, and I really went over there to talk about, she had some other issues about that gum disease, and she was talking about, she got rid of her buckthorn and she still doesn't have any of the lobe trees. And all I told her was, you really need a forester to counsel you on this, and I can help you. It's not an arborist issue. There's a difference between foresters and arborists. And I said, but to give you the concept of this, if you look in your yard and you see 5 or 6 places where the sunlight's hitting the ground, if you look at that spot and you start to thin out the sugar maples underneath, and as Ms. McGowan said, the trees you leave, you prune those, you open up some sunlight. So if you look at the different layers of the canopy, you create the sunlight. That's basically the natural process. You create the holes, and then the trees come in. So we're doing, and one size doesn't fit all. Every property is different. The answer is different on every property, and I think that's something we need to understand. So that's really all I wanted to explain.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, bids for village hall property, tree pruning and removal. We have bids. On the village property, ranging from $11,395 to $21,454. The recommendation is for a redwood tree, $11,395. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
I just
Like me to say what it's for? Well, basically, we had some concerns about safety issues and dead tree limbs hanging over the parking lot. And then every year we have these different people and groups come through that wasn't it. So we really wanted to look at trees that we thought were potentially hazardous to people using the property. And our intent was to address the trees that we thought needed to be removed, the trees we needed to prune. Our idea is to allow access to the successful contractor immediately to any of the trees that he can work out off the surface of the parking lot. Now, when it gets to coming back into the woods, that's going to be over the winter when it's a little more ground conditions and those kinds of things. And we've limited the kinds of things they can do back here in terms of small equipment, that sort of thing. But that was really the intention of this, was to eliminate the issues that we thought were potentially hazardous.
Chuck, I don't have any question about this. When you buy a service, usually you evaluate price, you have some expectation of quality, and you want to know how long it's going to take, what kind of delay before you get the service accomplished. I assume delay is not a problem here. Does the village, do you or the village keep records on these suppliers and how effective they were at each task, so that we have a track record of the consistency of the quality of performance?
Yeah, and I think we're just talking about, in this case, we're talking about removing dead trees and pruning dead limbs. It's not sophisticated structural pruning, those kind of things, which is a little different issue. And everybody that's on that list has worked in the village and does those kind of things. So we have a comfort level with that, and I don't anticipate any problems with it.
Okay, but we do keep a file commenting, summarizing the satisfaction of an effort.
I don't think we analyze it that way.
We don't have a file summarizing.
But we've got, the village has documents of all the times we've done bids and all these things. And there are, quite frankly, companies that specialize in tree removal and others in pruning. And this isn't as a sophisticated pruning issue.
Yeah.
There may be a couple of people on that list that wouldn't have been on a sophisticated pruning issue. But this worked in terms of dead trees and dead limbs as well within their capabilities. And they all have, they all have certificates of insurance on file.
It's not cheap to maintain woods in the property. Okay, roll call vote for $11,395 to the trees.
Grant Haven, what is that for?
Center for Enriched Living is a center we have here.
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
They have a program for handicapped adults, and they do a very good job of it for all of them. And we have been giving a donation every year.
For that program.
And they service some residents in the village.
They serve a number of residents. Any other questions? Roll call vote again for this. $5,000 to the Center for Enriched Living. You had a motion, right?
You had a motion?
Motion and a second.
Motion and a second. Trustee Swatter?
Yes.
Trustee Chamberlain?
Aye.
Trustee Greider?
Yes.
Trustee Haber?
Aye.
Trustee Kuchen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Discussion of vehicle stickers. I'm not looking for any decisions today. I just want to have a discussion for consideration of some vehicle stickers for the village to issue. Commander Tyler is here. Would you have your comment on this, please?
What I would comment on is the benefits to the police department, a database that we'd be able to create with vehicles that are registered in the village. They would help us in certain ways. We don't have access to vehicles specifically. This would really enhance our database. We can use that to help for things such as a hit and run crash in the area. Maybe they're looking for, say, a white BMW. We can more readily access our database as opposed to Secretary of State's, see if there's any in our town, and then go check those addresses and see if counts for that with the offending vehicle. Same with partial plates. If we do have that through the Secretary of State, but it would take longer and it covers a larger area. So basically, if someone called in and said, this car just drove by, hit my mailbox, and I got the first two letters, it's a side street, it might be a neighbor, and we could access that more quickly.
Sherry, how does a vehicle sticker, I'm losing it.
When you apply for the vehicle
How does that
sticker,
help you identify a vehicle that in a mailbox went?
Creates a database.
it creates a database. When they
But you
apply
have to
for,
be able to read the
No,
sticker.
no, they get a list.
No.
when they apply for the sticker,
Bill, let me explain this to you. When you apply for the sticker, you fill out a form.
Okay.
On this form has the car, license plate, what type of car it is,
color,
the color, the year, the make.
Okay.
So.
As does the license plate form.
You don't need the license plate. If we're looking for a Ford, 55 Ford, we can just look and see how many 55 Fords we have in our database.
Just to use as an example.
First was a 52.
Let's go to 2005 Ford.
It's funny, you still didn't even question.
I think what he's saying is that you get it from the state of Illinois.
What price tag are you talking about sticking on these stickers?
Maybe no price tag.
Well, that could be, and that would be acceptable.
Well, and I think one of the things we should recognize is that if we do charge a fee